we're going to go over escape from death, so it's going to be a rear choke. I'm going to have Moses choke me in a second, but I'm going to have Devin come out here first. I want to go over some of the basics, and it's going to be a little easier for me to choke Devin rather than Moses. So here's the attack. The person is coming around like this. It's a rear choke, and this really is appropriately named. Okay, your chances of pulling this off, I have the advantage. Okay. He's at a significant disadvantage, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I'm coming up from behind, and I'm coming in like this. Now, some people might grab and seal off the choke and try to crush the windpipe. You could be dealing with that. This technique is designed for that as well. But what you really want to be concerned with is the elbow. Once they get the elbow around front, now as I start to lock the technique in, lock in the choke, now it becomes a blood choke. So I'm cutting off his blood flow, and he has 5 to 8 seconds, then he's unconscious. Okay? So the defense, he's going to step towards the attack. You can see he's actually stepping towards my arm, into my arm, grabbing my wrist, and he's going to fuse his arm down. Okay? Now, why towards the arm? Step the other way. Did that do anything to stop me from solidifying my grab? No. Okay? Now, if he steps this way, let's see what happens. This becomes more difficult for me to get my elbow around front. So if you time things wrong, if you're not grabbing right away, you might get a little thump in the side. That's better than me getting this around, okay? And now he's in a choke. So he steps towards the side, he grabs the wrist, and then from there we're going to do a few follow-up strikes. What I want to illustrate, again, and Devin's done this technique before, step to the side and grab. Okay, ready? You're going to do the technique. I'm going to go fast. Ready? Now, he has an advantage, by the way. There's mirrors over there, and I'm going to let him use the mirrors because it will really highlight the disadvantage that he has. And I want you to understand that because we're going to work on the technique. It is a well-constructed technique to understand the principles at play with preventing somebody from actually choking you. But at the same time, I don't want you to get a false sense of security. I want you to understand the second somebody gets around behind you, you are at a significant disadvantage. We use that all the time in our techniques. Okay, so ready? I'm going to try to pull this off full speed. I can see Devin's kind of like meditating. He's clearing his mind and getting ready. All right, ready? I'll start from back here. You can see how quick and easy it is for the person to get their arm around before you've responded. So we started off by demonstrating how easy it is for me to get this lock in place before he even makes a move. But now I want to give you a tip that will help give you a little bit better odds. And still, I have the advantage. He is at a disadvantage, but Devin and I were just working on this, and he actually did pretty decent. The key here, what most of you are doing that's putting you at the disadvantage, is you're waiting till you see my arm, and you're trying to grab. See, he actually did the right movement. You're trying to grab and then step together. You need to get that footwork in place before the grab, okay? Because by the time you find my arm and you grab it, it's too late. But if you take that step, go ahead, ready? Okay, if he takes that step and he turns correctly, a minute ago he had his chin tucked in, and I came around, and I basically, I was at his chin, I was in the side of his head. Now I could come in and use some chin-na, some manipulation to get the lock in place, and that's where now he has a little bit better odds because I have to react to his initial response before I can get that lock in place. So he moves sideways, and he got a little thump in the head that time, but if he didn't drop and he didn't turn his head, where would that have been? Just raise back up and look where I am. It's a chokehold. So yes, it's not the best it's not the best situation. You're going to end up getting hit. You're going to end up likely taking a thump. But it gives you better odds. So move first. Get the wrist, secure the wrist, and respond as quickly as you can. But get your body moving, get your head turning. Ready? We're going to do it quick. And you can see, again, he turned. Fight's not over. I'm behind him. Worst position to be in is to give somebody your back in a fight. We know that. But he now has a fighting chance, okay? So try that with your partners, literally with your partner. Work that drill. See if you can start getting the choke in fast. You might get thumped a little bit, but guess what? It's better than having a false sense of security. It's better than thinking just because, go ahead, do the technique. Step sideways, grab, pull. Just because we're doing it nice and slow and steady, now he thinks he's got a technique that's going to work. You want to develop that strategy with your partner, start where they can see in the mirror. That will help a little bit. Then after he's starting to do well there, because remember, even when I'm behind him, I got the advantage, so we'll help even the odds so he can train the movement. And then let's take his line of sight away and see how he does.